league.
Top 4?
Well,
What?
I don't know. You tell me.
He
Probably could be higher. Regular season wins 45, he's third. Playoff wins 6. Super Bowl appearances 2. If you care about going to the Super Bowl, I do. Total touchdowns 151. It's the third most, and yes, I count total touchdowns because he runs a play that nobody else can run. I think it matters. The league is trying to ban it. He's so good at it. So he's got the third most touchdowns. So here's where he ranks historically. This is what Hub said. He's like, you can even go back further if you want. I was like, can I put up like Brady numbers and like Matt Ryan and Phillip Rivers? He's like, yeah, you can do that. I was like, okay, make a record. So there's Jalen Hurts right up there with, legendary players, active players, Mahomes
and Matt Ryan.
Lamar, and Matt Ryan, who won an MVP. And then it's the big stage stuff, which I give, outsized credit to. He's 3-1 in NFC Conference Championship games. I know it was a close, 28-point game against Jaden Daniels, but his team scores 40 points. He doesn't shrink in these moments.
No.
So you can say in like a random, week 6 game against the Commanders that he might, or the Giants that he might just, throw for 17 completions. But when it really matters, the guy shows up and balls out in a major way. And he has family members yelling at Nick. So I think both of those have worked. My and Josh's statistics.
To be fair, she never yelled at me. It was more of like a disappointed scolding.
Scolded.
And she was nothing but polite.
Can I give you one take, though? Because I think we all kind of, I don't know, you and I agree at least. Do you think how long do you think Hurts gets to bask in the glow of this last Super Bowl?
Probably about week 3. Honestly. I mean, I think
I'm going to let this play out. He has not been able to bask in any glow. Are you kidding me? People are ranking Jalen Hurts as like the 18th, 20th best quarterback. Like, are we serious here? He hasn't been basking in any glow whatsoever. So let's not get it twisted here, okay? No.
If it beats Mahomes,
hold on. I thought you were saying like if things go poorly. So obviously if things go well, then it's just whatever. But I do not think modern sports media allows for that. Well, like it is an objective fact that no player in league history has been more successful through their first 7 years than Patrick Mahomes. You can argue Brady tied him. I don't think that's true because Mahomes been to more Super Bowls, won MVPs, more MVPs, never missed the playoffs. No one's had a more successful opening 7 years. Mm-hmm. He is coming off a year where they made another Super Bowl and they had the best record in football. And the conversation this offseason is, I think the Chiefs might be done and Mahomes, we're kind of moving past them. So I don't think one Super Bowl when you went into it with skepticism surrounding you all year really is going to carry you into next year if he plays poorly. I don't think he's going to play poorly.
Let's also be clear, though. Patrick Mahomes had a lot of skepticism of him going into 2024, and he did not really necessarily live up to it individually and statistically. And again, if you want to talk about wins and losses, I'm going to get to that. Oh, don't you wait.
To be clear, so I don't want to sound like I'm talking out both sides of my mouth, but if they start 1-3 and he has 3 touchdowns, 6 picks, they're opening up the offense more, you know what I mean? Then I think the glow goes away.
This is more for the media ombudsman, but since we're not on Thursday, I'd like to just bring it up now. Wow. You get so in your craw about different articles and podcasts that are putting Josh or Lamar or whoever above Mahomes.
Yeah, because I think it's dumb. I think America deserves smart discussion, and they're not getting it.
But they're like in Mahomes Mountain, we don't talk about Mahomes. We talk about everybody else because it's kind of given. If we want Mahomes Mountain to really pop, we would always be putting other people up.
Yeah, I understand.
But I feel like saying like another sunny day in San Diego, no one tunes into that. Where you're like, snowy in San Diego.
I get that.
I feel like you're being victimized a little bit of click culture.
Okay, well that might be true, but I mean, maybe that is true, and maybe I'm pushing against it. I also would like to say about Mahomes Mountain quickly, what you did is not allowed.
What'd I do?
Can we just show the mountain real quick again, guys? Jalen Hurts.
I didn't write. I don't write those things.
So where do you want him?
Is it left or right?
No. So
it's not left or right?
No. There are three quarterbacks ahead of him. Mahomes, Allen, and Lamar. Are you okay with that?
Then I think Hurts needs to be on his own.
On his own row.
Like how we had Caleb
by
on
himself.
his own little.
Okay, let's actually have this real conversation now. We all know it's left to right. That's what the running joke constantly is, and that's the problem. And I love that Wild's called it out in terms of we always have Mahomes at the top, and it's kind of like why tune in then? I mean, that's literally what I just said. This is what I've said a lot last season in terms of what's more interesting to me, and what I just said when I did the full mountain yesterday when I said it's so much more interesting to actually look at it week to week to week rather than this whole blanket. It's a rich tapestry because that really is just a shield to just make up whatever you want. Because if it was truly a rich tapestry, then Aaron Rodgers could not be at the bottom. He could not be on the same level as McCarthy or Fields or Bryce Young. Like that does not make sense. So that we already know is kind of absurd. But listen, let's look at this. Mahomes fans, just take a deep breath. Just sit a couple plays out here, okay? This is where we have to be consistent, okay? We have to be consistent. Let's go backwards. People talk about Jalen Hurts and the success that Jalen Hurts is having. And they're saying it's all because of his team. That he's actually really not a big engine for that. Yet he puts up unbelievable numbers in the most important games in the first 4 years of his career. Okay? 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024. 2020 was like, he was like kind of in, kind of not really. But where he was an actual starter. 21, 22, 23, 24. Okay? He's got a great team, except for 21, actually. But A.J. Brown, Devontae, a good O-line. A great O-line at times. A good defense. A great defense at times. People are starting to have revisionist history where they're imagining that this team has had a historic O-line year after year after year, that Saquon Barkley has, I guess, apparently just never played for the Giants. He's just been with the Eagles year after year after year. And that this defense has been apparently just a top 1, top 2 defense year after year after year. And that's obviously not the case. And in Patrick Mahomes, when he played in 2018, and 2019, and 2020, and 2021, those 4 years that he had, right? 2018, 19, 20, 21. So those 4 years that he had with Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill, both in their big, beautiful prime. And he won. He won. He won. One. He won one. You guys understand that? And he lost one. See? It's a little confusing because it's just both one finger. He won a Super Bowl, and he lost a Super Bowl. He played kind of okay in that first Super Bowl. I mean, 26 for 42, 286 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 78 rating. They won because the 49ers only put up 20 points. And Jimmy Garoppolo was even worse. 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, and a 69.2 rating. And 219 yards. And then Patrick Mahomes won that Super Bowl. Credit to him. Because wins matter at the end of the day. Remember that? Wins matter at the end of the day. And then Patrick Mahomes obviously got rocked. Even with a great team. But he didn't have a great O-line. Okay. But yet, we want to just credit the team 100% for Hurts' success. Whether it's in these big moments, even though he individually also puts up huge numbers. This is fantastic. These are huge. These are top numbers in NFL history, by the way, especially his Super Bowl stats. He never played as bad as Patrick Mahomes in any Super Bowl. And then when we look at this win percentage in the first 75 starts, I want to know why in Patrick Mahomes' first 75 starts, all the credit went to Mahomes. All of it. All of it, all of it, all of it. In real time, when it was happening. It's a lot easier to say, well, Patrick Mahomes won without blah, blah, blah. Nobody was saying that in the beginning of his career. Nobody was saying that. That's why they were all saying that he was Michael Jordan, that he's Jordan-esque, that he's this, that he's that, he's this, he's that. Nobody was saying otherwise. They just kept praising him endlessly, non-stop, day after day after day. Now, this is since 21. Third in regular season wins. Sixth, so second in playoff wins, second in Super Bowl appearances, and third in total touchdowns. I just want to know. Go back in time and only go up to 2021. Why did Patrick Mahomes get all of the credit for the start of his career, but Jalen Hurts simply does not? That's what I want to know. And if you want to tell me it's because of regular season statistics, then what about the years that Jalen Hurts in the regular season statistics are great? Whether it's passing yards, whether it's total touchdowns, whether it's rushing yards. Last time I checked, I also need to know, when are we allowed to factor in when a quarterback is mobile and uses his legs? You guys have to tell me when. I still don't really understand when we're allowed to consider that. So especially when you look at total yards per game, when you look at passer rating, completion percentage, all things that Jalen Hurts throughout his career has been, obviously at various levels, but high level at. I just want to know. That's what nobody can answer for me. Why Patrick Mahomes was undeniably bona fide, essentially goated in his first 4 years. But with Jalen Hurts, it's just constant. Well, even when we've seen him, again, in these biggest games, Lamar Jackson, we hold him back because of his playoff performances. But somehow Jalen Hurts' big games, they're not enough to elevate. So in some weird way, you get hurt more for not coming up big in the playoffs, but you don't benefit for coming up big in the playoffs, unless I guess you're Patrick Mahomes. Please tell me how this makes sense. Patrick Mahomes, for any of you lingering Mahomes fans, Patrick Mahomes is a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts. He's a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts. I don't even have to think very hard about that. I don't have to dig into the stats and try to figure this or that out. I'm taking Patrick Mahomes over Jalen Hurts. It's a very easy decision for me. But when we constantly want to use moving forward why other quarterbacks are better or worse, and we use regular season wins, we use win-losses, we say, well, Joe Burrow hasn't made the playoffs, Josh Allen loses to Patrick Mahomes head-to-head, or, Lamar Jackson, this or that. If we're using that logic, then the logic for Jalen Hurts has to be elevated. There was questions about Jalen Hurts, about his interceptions. They went down. They questioned his ability to actually execute and run an offense, especially because Kelsey took a lot of that at center. Jalen Hurts passed with flying colors. Well, he got an easy path in the NFC Championship game last year. How can he really play? Maybe the Super Bowl was a one-off, was dominant in the NFC Championship game and was dominant in the Super Bowl. Well, what about when he was under pressure? He didn't have a lot of pressure because the O-line. Jalen Hurts in the 2022 Super Bowl, under pressure, 90.2 offensive rating, and an 84 passing rating. Patrick Mahomes in the same Super Bowl, 69.3, 60.6. And in 2024, Jalen Hurts didn't do much in terms of he used his legs in 2024 way more to avoid the pressure. And they don't have like pressure rushing stats, but I'm gonna go through those highlights. You could clearly see that he then would rip off multiple huge 15, 16-yard runs for first downs, slide out of the pocket, hit. I mean, he had 3 separate plays where he hit AJ, hit Devontae, and hit Saquon Barkley. And again, it's like we saw what Patrick Mahomes did under pressure. He threw interceptions. So this is why I keep saying, if we don't want to factor in team success, which is regular season wins, it is playoff wins, Super Bowl appearances, not total touchdowns. I don't know why total touchdowns is right there. Well, I guess technically that could be considered team as well, because you have to have someone to like catch the ball and whatnot. That's fine. But if we're having a discussion then about that, and then if we want to say, well, you know what, it matters, but it's a different percentage. It's like team success and regular season wins and playoff wins. It's like that's 40% of the equation, but then the other percentage, like, well, we have to figure that out then. And the reality is that nobody actually does. Nobody actually wants to figure that out. Because then if everyone just agreed to the same, structure of the conversation, it'd be too straightforward. But it's because we get to kind of just be like, well, because you have people like, right, you have many people that are like, Dak Prescott's better than Jalen Hurts. Baker Mayfield is better than Jalen Hurts. And you're like, yeah, but like, look at all this success. And they'll say, well, it's team success. And then it's like, but okay, what about let's just look at these last 2 years for Patrick Mahomes. His individual stats have not been good. Baker Mayfield has had better stats. Yeah, but he made it to the Super Bowl and he won a Super Bowl. Like, that's why we keep going in these circles. It's like, well, like, how are we having this conversation? And if you want to defend that Patrick Mahomes has still been a great quarterback these last couple of years, over a Josh Allen, over a Lamar Jackson and whatnot, and you're saying, well, yeah, his statistics were less than those quarterbacks, but he got further and won, then like that's what I keep trying to point to. Okay, well then look at Jalen Hurts then. And if you're going to say, well, no, that's different, that's not the whole story, okay then it's not the whole story. What is the whole story? And if you want to tell the whole story, then you would have to downplay some team success. And if you're going to downplay some team success, then you would have to pull down some Mahomes. And Nick obviously doesn't want to do that either. So it's like this conversation, it really becomes, 2 things come to mind. One of this is like an OG reference. The other one is just a random reference. For all of you guys who play video games, it's like that Mario level where you just keep running and like never ends. You have to like find the right door. It just keeps going and going and going and going and going. And you keep opening up the door and you fall out another door. And you open up another door and you go out another door. And it just keeps going and 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 going. Like that's what these conversations become. Because you open up one door and you're like, well, what about this door? And they're like, yeah, well, and then you walk through it. And then now you like leave another door. And you're just like, wait, how did I get here now? I mean, like it reminds me of the other old reference. I don't know, like where like someone's chasing someone and they're like opening up the one door and they come out another door and they're like, where'd you go? And they like go back in the door and then come out another door. Like it just becomes all over the place. And it's why someone like me can like also keep making videos about this, because it becomes fundamentally a different conversation every time. And so, but what I still haven't gotten any of the answers to is, when does this matter? When does something like this matter? And why does it essentially never matter for Jalen Hurts, but always 100% matter for someone like Patrick Mahomes? That's what I want to know. I mean, Patrick Mahomes has never been the leading rusher throughout a season for his team. Jalen Hurts has. Patrick Mahomes was never the leading rusher during a playoff run. Jalen Hurts was. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about Jalen Hurts? How do you make sense of when these things matter versus when they don't? If you have the answers, please do let me know, because I don't. Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.